Top of the mountain to all of you. I am Colby, and in today's video we are going car camping at Alamo Lake State Park. So this is a last-minute trip, and we're heading out to western Arizona to a place we've never been to. And what prompted this trip is my son got a new telescope, and so we looked for one of the darkest places in Arizona, and it happens to be Alamo Lake State Park. So we've never been out here. It's about 3 hours from our house, pretty far drive to get out here. But it looks like we're gonna get out here before dark and get camp set up, get a campfire going, and the telescope out. And we've got a long night ahead of us to look at stars. We're hoping for clear skies and a good view. And so we appreciate you guys coming along, and we'll show you what Alamo Lake State Park is all about. Here we are, we've made it to camp. We are in campsite E41. Check out this view. We got the lake right behind us. We've got a ramada, we've got the telescope already set up for the evening, and we got the fire pit. I'm gonna probably put the tent right there because the wind is blowing this way. So if I put it over there, embers on the tent's never fun. We're pretty excited. The kids already ran down to go fishing. I'm gonna get dinner going. I gotta get the fire started because we're cheating a little bit. I already cooked some hamburgers beforehand and just wrapped them up in foil, a big stack of them. And we're just gonna get the fire going and heat them up in there and throw them in, and it'll be a good dinner. So pretty quick, easy dinner for us tonight. Nothing too crazy, but quick and easy, that's what we like. All right, the boys are back from fishing. We've got a nice sunset in front of us, and we are going to do burgers. So I've got a stack of 4 burgers in the foil, and I'm just going to take these and just warm them up. They're already cooked. We're just warming them up down here in the fire. Shouldn't take too long for those to warm up, and then we've got the buns and everything. It should be a good dinner, a good night. All right, we're unwrapping dinner here. This is the quick way to do burgers when you're car camping. Boom. Look at that, all hot and steamy, all done. Oh yeah, and then we got the onions in the middle there, stacked in there. Look at that. Oh, you know you want some. So we're gonna get the boys loaded up here. Come on over, boys. Want onion one?
Yep.
Let's get you some of this onion in there. There you go. All right, so the verdict's in. The burgers are amazing. This is definitely a redo. Very simple dinner when you're car camping. Just make the burgers beforehand, wrap them in foil, and heat them up.
So right here we have the Celestron StarSense Explorer DX 130AZ. We are currently at the darkest place in Arizona, so we'll get good views of the Milky Way, and the sun is set, so we should be seeing the stars pretty soon here. And what I'm hoping to see tonight is I'm hoping to see some star clusters, the Milky Way obviously. There's also a meteor shower tonight, which I'm hoping to see. And I'm hoping to get a good view of Jupiter and Mars. So if we get some good shots on camera, we'll be sure to share it with you guys.
Well, good morning. We had a late night last night. We were up looking at stars till probably about 11:30. The stargazing out here is pretty good. It's not the best. It's not as good as we were hoping. We couldn't really see the Milky Way, which we were hoping to see, but we can see little bits of it. But with the telescope, we were able to check out some cool clusters and different things. I'd say the highlight last night was seeing Starlink come rolling through. It was something out of this world I'd never seen before. I've seen a few of the Starlinks before, but this one was just like, there was probably 30 plus satellites right in a row, really tight, and they were moving so fast across the sky. I've never seen anything like it. So that felt like a once in a lifetime kind of view, but maybe it happens all the time. I don't know. I've seen some of the Starlinks before, but this one was just like this train just trucking across the sky really, really fast. So I tried to get some video of it, but if you've ever tried to video the night sky, it doesn't come out very good. So we had a good time stargazing. The one downer was right around like 8:30. Some people came rolling in right next to us here with their big truck and big toy hauler and unloaded all their toys, and they were just so loud. Music going at least till 1 a.m. Their generator rolling all night long, and they were just loud and obnoxious. Some of the other neighbors tried to go over and talk to them, but they just didn't care. And so that's just the trade-off when you come to a campsite. It can be a little bit loud, and that's why I'm reminded why we love backpacking a lot more than car camping. Although car camping is really nice, we get to bring a lot of stuff we don't get to bring when we go backpacking. And overall, it's just a lot easier to car camp because you just throw it all in your car and go home. There's not a whole lot of organizing and having to worry about should you bring something or not. Speaking of luxuries that you can bring while you're car camping, the pad that I'm sleeping on right now is a Hest sleeping pad, and it's the first time I've slept on it. I got it from my wife because we're going to Yosemite in June, and we're going to be staying in the campground there in Yosemite Valley for about 4 or 5 nights. And my oldest son and I will be backpacking to Little Yosemite Valley and then climbing Half Dome on the cables. So that'll be a 2-night adventure while they stay in the campground down in the valley. So I got her this nice sleeping pad that she could sleep on because she's never camped that long before in a row. And so I'm trying to sweeten the deal. So I slept on this for the first time last night, and it was actually really comfortable. I weigh about 210 pounds, and my hip was bottoming out just a little bit. So I did also put a closed foam sleeping pad right underneath it, and that did the trick. I could have tried it out all night and seen, but I didn't want to risk it. I just want to be comfortable if I'm out here, if I already brought it. So for me, I put the extra foam pad underneath, and that seemed to take any edge off my hip because I'm a side sleeper. But it went really well. Slept good. Luckily, I brought my earplugs, and I'll show you guys my earplugs in another video. They're some of the best earplugs I think you can buy for camping in general. If there's loud noise like we had last night, I may have drowned the whole thing out. The other noise that we had last night was the donkeys, and they like to give the hee-haw all night long. So you could just hear the donkeys out there in the wild being loud and having fun out there all night. So that was kind of fun too. But it was a short night because we were up late. But man, talk about rough neighbors. I'm not even kidding. If you could set up like a bingo card for like worst camping neighbor ever, they pretty much filled out all the squares. They had a crying baby, they have a dog, a generator, an impact drill. They were impact drilling. I swear it was like 10:30 at night. I don't know what they were drilling. I'm assuming it was like their jacks for their toy hauler. Music. I mean, they got the campfire started like at 10:30. Their truck faces right at our tent, and they would open their doors and it would kind of light the whole truck up, and their little glow lights on the front of their truck up into our tent. So yeah, probably the worst camp neighbors I think we've ever had, ever camping. But we made the best of it. You can't let something like that ruin your trip. I know it let some of the people around us ruin their trip. They were pretty upset visibly. I could hear them going over there to talk to them and stuff. What can you do? Some people just think, you know, they own the campground and don't care about others around them, which that's the risk, as I said, you take when you car camp. But the sun's coming up. It's time to get out. It's time to make breakfast. We're gonna have a good morning here and hopefully go fish a little bit this morning down at the lake. And then we're probably gonna drive around to some of the other camping areas. Alamo Lake State Park's pretty big and there's lots of camp areas. And so we're gonna drive around and check this place out and see what else there is. So before I pack up all this mess, I'm gonna go make some hot chocolate and donuts for the boys. One of our favorite go-to breakfasts out here when we're car camping is hot chocolate and donuts. And so I usually bring the jet boil and we fire up some water, get the hot cocoa going. It's a really easy breakfast for me to make and for everybody to have. And everybody likes it, of course. Hot chocolate and donuts. What's not to like about that? I don't have the car camping game dialed in quite yet. I need some Coleman stoves and some skillets and grills and all these good stuff. We're pretty quick and easy when we're car camping. We don't do it a whole lot. We backpack probably a little bit more. And so if you're looking for easy meals to do when you're car camping, I'm usually someone to come to and ask, because we don't have all the fancy grills and all that quite yet. But someday we want to get into that a little more. But for now, we'll stick with our donuts and hot chocolate in the morning. It always tastes really good to have a hot cup of cocoa in the morning and then dip that donut right into the hot cocoa for that perfect bite. Let me know in the comments if you've ever tried the donuts and hot cocoa in the morning for breakfast while you're out camping. Give you a little tour around camp. We had a great campfire last night. This campsite comes with this ramada, which is nice. And then last night I did set up the Coleman Dome 6 Insta-tent. This was one of my first tents that I ever bought back when we only did car camping with the family. We didn't do much backpacking. But this tent has held up well through some pretty bad storms. And got a table, great view of the lake. We're out here in the E's. So I think the E's are a good place to be camping out here. Nice flat spots. But that's camp. That's what it looks like. All right, we've come down to the banks just below camp, right up there, and we're trying to look at some fishing. I think there are bass, crappie, tilapia, those types of fish out here. So we're making a few casts. So far we haven't had any luck casting from the shore here, but there are a lot of fishing boats out there. So we'll see if we can get it far enough out there. Seen a few fish jump out there. Just got a spoon on right now. Not sure if the lake is high or low right now. Probably a little low just based on the amount of rain we've had this year. But I will bring you back if we get something on. Haven't caught any fish, but we do see some dead tilapia here on the shore. And maybe a carp there. Tilapia. There must be some fish in here. We're just not catching them. All right, we got skunked. It was fun though. We fished, we got a few snags, lost a few lures, caught a few sticks, but we had a good time down here fishing. It's warming up out here, so we're going back to camp. We're gonna finish packing up everything and then go drive around the state park, maybe drive down by the dam, check that area out and see the other areas, because we didn't get to do that yesterday since it was getting dark. So we'll show you some other areas of the park. And at the end, I'll give you my final thoughts on if we would come back here or not, or if it's worth you guys coming here. We'll see if we run into any donkeys on our way back. All right, we stopped at the other campsites along the way, both A and B, and it's pretty crowded down there. That's where the ranger station is. I think there's a little store. We didn't go into the store, but we did come all the way out after that to the dam, and you can see it behind me. The Alamo Dam was completed in 1968 by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. So it's been here a while, but pretty big dam. I don't know why it's so big. It's not even halfway up it looks like, or has a long ways to go, but maybe it does fill up sometimes pretty high.
but the water line's still pretty low, maybe 15, 20 feet above where it's at right now. But I'm sure there are years where we get some flooding and it fills up pretty good for a little bit. But let me turn the camera around here and you can see some of the details of the dam. There we go. If you're interested in stats, it's got all the stats there. And then we'll take you up to the lookout here. See the rest of the lake from a high point. It's pretty nice to be able to drive down here and see this. There we go. There's a big view of the lake. Nice view. There's the dam. A little ramada up here up top. All right, this is a great spot to wrap our adventure up. We are at the vista point of Alamo Lake, and it's been really fun out here. The campsites were really great. They were right next to the lake over in the E section. We just had some rough neighbors last night, but what can you do about that? Sometimes you just got to deal with stuff like that. I think we had enough fun that we would come out here again, maybe bring some friends. It's easy to get a campsite. There's lots of sites out here. I wouldn't say we're in a rush to get back out here. Probably not our favorite spot. Maybe if we had a boat. But the type of people that are here are, you know, boaters and razor side-by-side type people. That's the crowd. So it's not quite, I would say, my crowd that I like to hang with. They were all up pretty late. So if you're looking for like a serene, peaceful camping spot, I'd say Alamo Lake is not it. Now there are some dispersed camping and things that might be a little bit quieter than over at the campgrounds. But this would be fun, especially if you have a boat. You could come out here. It was a little windy today and yesterday. I don't know if that's normal for it to be windy out here. But we had a good time. I'm glad we came out. We saw awesome stars last night. But I think up in the mountains, the stars are even brighter and better. We were just trying it out. It's a new spot for us to come to and check out and adventure. Someday I'll get a 4Runner or a Bronco or something, and I'll be able to get out on the other side to Maggie Canyon, where there's a bunch of slot canyons and things that run into Alamo Lake. But you got to be able to go around the lake and come down the other side to get there. So that'll be another adventure for another day. But I hope you liked this video. Hopefully I gave you some tips around Alamo Lake. And if you like the video, make sure you subscribe and like. And if you guys are like us and get out here all the time, we hope to see you guys out here sometime.